I apologize to anyone that I accidentally hit when my brother was in an altercation over there.
Another day, another apology from Rob Ford. He is still the mayor of Toronto, but today Toronto City Council voted to strip the mayor of most of his powers, a move he and his brother, Councillor Doug Ford, denounced as undemocratic. Earlier this evening, I sat down with both men in the mayor's office just after the vote. So what happened out there in those council chambers? You guys called it a coup d'etat. Is that what it was?
That's exactly what it was. The people elected me, the largest mandate in Canada's history, and they just stripped my powers. They gave me 25% of what David Miller had. I returned thousands of calls. I can't function as the mayor of Toronto with 8 people in my office. They just stripped me of everything I had because of all personal problems.
But they must have known that. And is it all because of personal problems?
It's just personal. Nothing. Not one person brought up how much money I've saved the taxpayers, getting rid of the $60 car tax, privatizing garbage, having the lowest tax increase of any major city in North America, watching every dime, getting union deals done, building subways. That was never mentioned.
What was mentioned, though, by many of the councillors, including the councillor who sits right beside you, who's been a political ally of yours in the past, was that he was worried about your health. He thinks you're ill. That your personal problems are because you're ill. You don't buy that?
But never mind, I don't buy it. It's not true.
Why would they say that?
Because of a few isolated incidents. I've come forward. I said I have drank in excess a few times. I've admitted to drug use, but I'm not a drug addict. I'm not an alcoholic. I've shown up to work every day for the last 13 years, straight as an arrow. I return everyone's call. And have I had some fun time on the weekends? Yes, I have. And I think everyone has. And I'm human. I made a mistake. Peter, I'm getting punished for my Friday or Saturday night that I decided to have a few drinks.
And too many drinks, right?
Well, depending on what you consider drinking. Sometimes people drink once or 2 or 3 drinks and they're drunk. Well, I'm a big guy, you know. It might take me a few more drinks than that, but this is all personal. They called it a democracy. This is not a democracy. This is a dictatorship.
Do you worry about your brother's health?
His weight, I do.
Just his weight?
His weight, yeah. And
were you aware of the drinking and the drugs?
I was aware that you drink once in a while. He doesn't, you got to understand, Peter, when I said I don't see Rob drink, Rob does his thing at night and on the weekends. He has two kids and his family, and he does his thing. I have my 4 girls, I do my thing. So does it crisscross sometimes? Yes. But when I saw the videos, yeah, he has one too many. Do you want to call it binge drinking the odd time? Yes. But Rob is changing his life. He's working out every single day. He's on a strict diet.
When they
he's getting health professionals.
I'd like to ask about that. But when you heard your fellow councillors say he's ill, he's got a sickness problem.
Yeah, they don't know Rob. They aren't around Rob. They don't hang out with Rob. And I find it very ironic, Peter. It was the pot calling the kettle black down there.
Let me just ask straight up yes and no on a couple of things. Last week you talked about driving after you'd been drinking. Now, were you drunk when you were driving?
No, Peter. What I said, and all of us have done this. Whoever has a license, you've gone to a dinner party, you go out to a restaurant with your wife, you have a glass of wine. Mm-hmm. Do you drive? Absolutely, you drive.
Yeah. If you drank in moderation, below
everybody
the limit.
Below the limit.
But is that what you were talking about in your...
That's exactly what I said. I said, yes. They said, you've drinking? Yes, absolutely. Everybody has.
So you haven't been drunk?
Never. What? Okay. I've never, ever been drunk and driven.
Marijuana while you've been mayor?
Yes.
Crack while you've been mayor?
Yes.
More than once?
No. This is an isolated incident.
Once on crack? Ever on cocaine?
Yes.
Yes on cocaine?
I've admitted that. Yes, I admitted that.
Once or more than once?
I just said that. I've answered your question.
on cocaine more than
Yes.
once?
And when I was younger, I experimented with
No,
drugs.
I mean while you've been mayor.
No,
Never cocaine while you've been
No.
mayor. Ever on drugs in this office?
never.
And you purchase drugs yourself, as opposed to having been given by a friend or whatever. You actually purchased the drugs.
Yes,
Now, is that an illegal act
that's an illegal act. Yes, I've bought marijuana.
while you've been mayor?
Yes.
And what should people think of that? Should they think that you should be charged? You committed an illegal act.
You're absolutely right. But there's a lot of people that have done what I've done that sat right on that council chamber floor that have purchased marijuana. Absolutely.
Oh, okay, I don't know that to be a fact, but
I know it to be
but
a
let's
fact.
let that aside. They're not the mayor. You're the mayor of Toronto.
You know what? I'm a human being, okay, Peter? Nobody has helped more people in this city than Rob Ford. Nobody. Am I perfect? No, I'm not perfect. But when it comes to running the city, I've run the city better than any mayor ever has. I've saved more taxpayers' money than ever has. I've changed the culture down here. You don't hear about the scandals anymore.
Well, I mean, the whole world's hearing about what they think is a scandal right now with you.
I mean, a money scandal. Compare
No, I hear
us
you.
to the provincial government.
Yeah.
$1 billion scandal. That's criminal. The Senate up in Ottawa. That's criminal. In my personal opinion, that's criminal. There's not one time, Peter, not one time you'll ever find me stealing a dime of taxpayers' money. Ever.
Okay. You've mentioned, and your brother's mentioned, how you are seeking help for some of your issues, that you've got professional health care helping you. Can you tell us, what does that mean?
That means I'm dealing with professionals.
But, are you dealing on, is it your weight, is it drugs, is it alcohol? What
I'm
is
dealing
it?
with my health issues. And that's what my doctor
Are all
advised
three
me.
of those health issues?
No, I would say my excessive drinking at times, I don't do drugs, and my health and my weight. I'm training every day. I haven't touched a drop of alcohol in 3 weeks, and I don't do drugs.
The last time you did drugs was,
A year ago sometime.
would it have been this incident with the crack?
Probably, yes. Probably in and around a year. I don't know exactly when it was, but probably in about a year ago.
Do you remember anything about that night?
I haven't seen the video. I don't know. I was probably pretty inebriated. Very inebriated. You heard about the St. Patrick's Day bringing up 2 years ago. You know what happens when you get to a certain point? When you're very, very inebriated? You remember this, you might not remember that. There's this points, I hate to say it, there's this blackout period that I think we all have gone through. As a teenager, going to university, some people drink to excess. Again, some people are perfect. I'm not. I got caught. I admitted it. I came forward and said, yes, I have. And now I'm getting punished for telling the truth.
Alessandro Lisi, how does a guy with a criminal past like that end up working on your personal staff?
He didn't work on my personal staff.
Well, he was a part-time driver,
And
right?
he's in front of the courts right now, and I'm not going to comment about Mr. Lisi.
You won't talk about how he ended up driving your car?
He's in front. He's in front of the courts now, and I cannot talk about Mr. Lisi.
What about the police investigation?
My lawyer has advised me, do not be interviewed by the police.
And what would that be based on? Why would you not
Talk to my lawyer. Dennis Morris is the top criminal lawyer in Canada, and he said you do not talk to the police. You can talk to Dennis Morris about that.
But what kind of signal does that send, do you think?
Talk to my lawyer, Dennis Morris, about that. I cannot talk about anything before the courts.
What's your sense of what this signal is to the rest of the world about Toronto? Not only do you know the reporters have been here, you have kind of embraced it. You've been doing interviews with organizations from around the world. You've seen what's been put on late-night television. What do you make of that?
Well, obviously, it's one of the biggest stories in the country. We want to get our message out. We picked Peter Mansbridge from CBC, Who would ever think that the Fords would have CBC in here first over anyone? No one. Has the media been fair? No, they haven't. And it's not just the Ford brothers saying that. It's very obvious that the Rob's been under siege, under attack by the media from day one. From day one, when their man never won, we're just under siege. What happened today, in our opinion, in our lawyer's opinion, George Rusty, he wrote the statute. This is political. He told us he's never seen anything like this before.
So are you going to fight it?
Absolutely, we're going to fight it. 100%. But Peter, they went ahead, and this is the worst day in Canadian history for democracy. Let's put the personal issues aside. We got to take that to the side. This is about the future of the city, that if they don't like the future mayor, they take the powers off.
If all this was political, did you play into their hands by your personal actions?
Did I play into their hands?
Well, in the sense that your personal life caught up to you. And they, you know, if you believe, the two of you, that this was all political on the part of your political enemies, they use these incidents, the crack, the drinking, the being hammered in public, as you said. Did you play right into their hands?
That's all they have. I could get personal.
It's quite a bit.
You don't think they've ever been drunk in public?
No, but that's not the point.
Oh,
you're the mayor.
definitely.
But you're the only mayor, right?
Right.
And they targeted you, and they used your personal lifestyle to go after you, right?
Yeah, absolutely they did. You don't kick someone when they're down. And I'm not a very religious guy, but my dad did teach Bible school, and prayer is important to me. And he who shall cast the first stone has never sinned. Everyone has sinned. And you know what? I admitted I sinned. I apologize. It was humiliating, degrading to come out like this, but I have.
Well, coming up, the conclusion of our feature interview with Rob and Doug Ford. About the federal cabinet minister who they say helped the mayor face up to his problems.
The turning point, when Rob said is enough done, and focusing, is when you see someone like Jim Flaherty getting choked up.
That's next.